I am recording this starting now. That way, y'all can reference this for later. We'll post it on our website and I will send out the link. I think it looks like everyone's muted themselves, and at any point, feel free to unmute and ask a question. My colleague Tracy will be on here in a minute, and you can also use the chat, and we will make sure to answer all your questions. So where I want to start, could someone just give me a thumbs up? Can you see my screen? Yep, perfect. All right. I always want to double check. So what you should be seeing right now is the homepage of Career Fair Plus. And what I'm going to walk through first is just how to access your account on Career Fair Plus. Now, for those of you some of you should have already received emails from Career Fair Plus, and you can just click on the links in your email to log in. But this is just, you lose the email, you forget, or you're just trying to show someone else. This is just the basic, easy way to log into your account. You go to careerfairplus.com, you go to Recruiter Candidate Login, click that button. It's going to take you to this page where you could select an organization, and up in the upper right hand corner you click on Employer Login. And so I will log in with my employer account. And once you're logged in, it's going to show you all the fairs that you are a part of. Now, for the overwhelming majority of you, it should just say KU virtual or a KU volunteer fair. That should be the only fair you see. If perhaps you're participating both in our part-time job fair and the volunteer fair, or you've already signed up for one of our other upcoming fairs, you should see more, but you'll only see one fair probably on this home screen. I'm going to go into the virtual demo fair just to show you what I want to talk about, but you would obviously click on the volunteer fair. And before we go any further, I want to walk through the differences between schedules of appointments and the drop-in rooms. So those are the two primary ways that you can engage with our students, meeting with students either via appointments or in a drop-in room. And so the first is a schedule of appointments. That is something that you would need to coordinate with me beforehand, and students will sign up for appointments before the fair and the day of the fair to engage with y'all. So to give y'all some context, in our test demo fair that I'm showing you right now, it says that the fair is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I have all these appointment slots throughout the day that a student could sign up for. It's a predetermined time that they can have a video conversation with y'all. The other way to engage with students is through a drop-in room. And that is, there's no signups. It's something that, once again, you need to coordinate with me to get set up for your account, but there's no signups, and students can truly just click on a video link at any time and enter basically imagine our open Zoom call right now, that they would pop in, they can ask questions, they can have a conversation with you, you can share information about the opportunities that you're offering. To give you context, I'm sorry to be switching screens a lot. This is the fair page for another test fair that we've created. And so you can see here, you see a bunch of different employers that we have lined up. And normally, let's find a good example here. So, if I wanted to have a conversation with Tektronix, right here, you would see, oh, they have a drop-in room. If, for whatever reason, an appointment wasn't available, or I only have, 5-10 minutes and don't have time to sign up for an appointment, just have a quick follow-up question, I don't feel like I need to do a whole appointment, all I would do is click on this link right here, and that takes me into the room. So that is just kind of the quick version of the difference between the drop-in rooms and the schedule of appointments. And I want to pause right there before going any further. Does anyone have any questions over those? feel free to unmute or throw it in the chat. If not, we can just go ahead and keep going. So what I would like to do now is we recommend, if possible, schedules of appointments are the first way we would recommend you try and engage with students. You know, I'll be the first to say this is our first time doing virtual fairs, so we don't have, we don't have years of experience to point us to that. So you're learning just as much as we are right now. We do want to point y'all to the appointment schedules. Ariel, I see your question. Give me just 1 second. We're pointing you and students towards the appointment schedules because we want to just try and guarantee y'all as much secure time to interact with students. So, for the student's point of view, if they're only doing drop-in rooms, there could be plenty of other people on the call and they don't get the chance to get their question asked. Whereas if they sign up for an appointment, they have a for sure 10-minute window that they can learn all about your organization and the opportunities that you have. Ariel has a question. Can you select a window of time where you allow drop-ins, or is it only one or the other? And so it is only one or the other, as far as I'm aware, that you can do the schedule or the drop-ins. Now, I want to be clear, and I probably didn't do a good job of explaining this, so I thank you for bringing this up. If you have multiple staff members who are going to be working with you during the fair, you can do both. It is not an either or proposition if you have at least 2 people who will be working. We have found that in our test fairs, it is way too difficult for one person to manage both a drop-in room and appointments. I will zoom ahead here just a little bit. So if you look on my screen, I, as a student, can click on this this drop-in link, and I don't even have to be a student. Anyone can get into this page. Oh, what's going on there? Let's try this. There we go. So I've clicked on the drop-in room link. Anyone can enter this. I don't need a login to do it. Any one of y'all right now could go to careerfairplus.com and navigate to this fair and click on this link. So you don't need a login, you don't need an appointment, and I'll click on join meeting. And what I'm demonstrating is what I was saying earlier of how we want you to have at least one person managing each. So I'm now in the drop-in room, and you can see up here in the left-hand corner, this 1 out of 50. I'm the only person in here. And we found that students find it pretty confusing that if they go to a drop-in room and no one's there, it's unclear if they need to wait for an employer to let them in, or if they're simply in a holding pattern, or what the situation is. So that gives you a little bit more context as to why one person can't manage both a schedule of appointments or a drop-in room, because we find that it's the best experience for the students and the employers to have one person assigned to each at least. You can have more. You could have 2 people running your drop-in room or 2 people running one schedule. That's great, but you have to have at least one each. So for those of you who have already signed up for schedules, I'm going to walk you through how you can edit those. So what you've already gotten is just how we've preset it. The schedules are very customizable. So when you log into Career Fair Plus and you choose your fair, I just went back to the beginning, so you would click on Virtual Demo Fair, and you can do a lot of things from this page. You can click on this little green arrow right here. You could create a schedule for yourself. You could create someone else's schedule. You can add another recruiter, or you can edit your profile. Now, the majority of you, if you've received an email from Career Fair Plus, you shouldn't need to create your own schedule because we've created it for you just to get it set up. Once we've created the schedule for you, you can do a lot of adjustments of it though, and I'm going to show you how to do that. What you do is you click the View Appointments button right here. And once you click on that, you'll see the button that says Manage Schedule. And you click on that and you get 2 options, Edit Schedule Details and Edit Time Slots. Well, first, if you edit the schedule details, you'll see this page. You'll see schedule name, description, and instructions. So the majority of you, if I've created a schedule for you, I've simply put your name as the schedule name. So, Ariel, I'll pick on you. If you had a schedule created for you, more than likely it'll say Ariel Penner's schedule or Ariel schedule. You can leave it or you can change it. So, some organizations have multiple schedules and they're recruiting for different positions. To use an example from our part-time job fair, KU Dining is hiring for catering positions on one schedule and then another for cashiers on another schedule. And they've titled their schedules accordingly. You can just, make it fun schedule titles of, great hardworking volunteers sign up here. Whatever you want to do, you can leave it as your name, you can customize it. That's all whatever you want to do. The other thing, and this I would recommend, you can put in a description here. And this we're hoping will only help students get an idea of what sort of opportunities that you have to provide or what you're looking for. So if you have information about the volunteer opportunities that you want to put in here or the different options, you can put that here, and that'll just give students a better understanding before they sign up with an appointment what this opportunity is. You can do any additional instructions. Don't really anticipate you needing to do much with this, but if there was something in particular, maybe something you wanted them to have ready or anything like that, you can customize this as well. And then the final thing, you can enable prerequisites. Once again, we don't really anticipate you needing to utilize this functionality. This kind of comes more into play for some of the more like the education career fairs where licensure comes into play, or for full-time positions, if you need certain work authorization or you're only recruiting for certain majors, you're welcome to use this. But like I said, based on the conversations I've had with y'all, I don't imagine that's going to be something that you really need to worry about. But anyway, there's the overview of how we edit our schedule details. Once you change something, description here, you want to make sure to hit the save button. And once you save, it's going to bring you back to this main page where you can see Marshall's schedule. He's great. You can see some of the changes that I've made. Now you can also edit the times that you're meeting with students. As you can see here, my fair is from 8 to 4, and it's preset at 10 minutes long for each appointment. That's how it's just going to be preset. You can change this to whatever you want, and you go do that by hitting Manage Schedule and editing time slots. And so here you'll see I can change the time slot duration. If you feel like 10 minutes is too short and you need a longer amount of time with the candidates, you can make it longer. If you think 10 minutes is too long, you can absolutely make it shorter. 10, like I said, we're learning just with y'all. 10 seems to be the preset that this vendor recommends. It seems to be like a good, healthy bit of time, but you can absolutely adjust that however you want. We'll say that I want to make it 15 minutes long. You would then apply changes, and then you can see the changes reflected down here with your appointments. The other thing that you can do is you can block off specific times that you know that you're unavailable. So if you know you have a meeting, or you're wanting to build in a lunch break, or insert whatever reason here, you can block off these times and students will not be available to sign up for those specific times. So if I know that I have a meeting from 8 to 9:30, I can block off all those times right there. You always want to hit save, and then students will not have the option to sign up with you. If you know the fair, our real fair was going to be from 10 to 3. If you know you have to leave at 2 o'clock, you can block off times after 2 o'clock. This is however you want to tweak your schedule to fit your needs. It does not have to be standard. I imagine some of you will make changes accordingly, but that is kind of how you adjust and customize your schedule. I want to pause again. Does anyone have any questions? Feel free to unmute or throw it in the chat. Durand, I can't tell if you have a question or if you're just waving your hand in front of the camera. And you're muted, Durand, so if you have a question, try and hit the unmute button.
Okay. You had mentioned that the dining services had different types of jobs. How do you go about that with that previous thing where you had your title and your description? You hit save and start over, or what?
Yeah, so I've just to show you how to navigate off this page, I've hit saved. My changes are now saved, and you just hit this upper back button right here in the corner, that white arrow. So to make those changes that you're talking about, um, so I think the best way to answer your question, you can only look at one schedule at once. So for my purpose, this requires some communication amongst the people that are coming to the fair. So if your organization has two different schedules of appointments, let's say, you just need to be on the same page of what you're titling each of those. So, but to make those changes, you click Manage Schedule right here, the little cog wheel, and then you hit Edit Schedule Details. And when you do that, here you can see the schedule name, and I can change that. I'll take off the he's great. You can see where you can put a description. And if you wanted to add additional instructions or enable prerequisites, you could do that. But this is the two places you would do that for your schedule. And then if another member of your organization wanted to customize theirs, they would do that from their view as well.
Okay, so only one person can be in charge of one description, or?
Yeah, this pretty much. So you can, and I don't think I'll be able to show it to you from here. So what I'm getting at is, as you can see, this is kind of your home page from the fair, and you can see my schedules, one. I can only edit one schedule because this recruiter's only been assigned to one schedule. So some of y'all, if you have multiple recruiters, we can get it so that Durand, you and another representative are assigned to both schedules. That way one person can do the editing. It would show up right here. Instead of my schedule's only one, it would show up as two, and it would show the second schedule. But you have to click in to the individual schedule to make the changes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Well, I'll keep going, and if you're still confused about it, we'll walk you through it. Does that sound all right?
Sure.
Okay, wonderful. So before I move on, any other questions regarding how to adjust your schedule, your times, any of the schedule details? Okay, great. So, sorry, we're getting a little feedback there. The next thing I want to talk through is how to enter these video appointments. So what you can do, so you will be getting a sign up notification anytime someone makes an appointment, and you'll get that via email. And so you'll be able to enter the video appointment. There will be a link in your email, but I actually will recommend you doing it from the Career Fair Plus page, just because it'll give you a better understanding of who you're meeting with. Because like I mentioned earlier, we are going to leave appointments eligible to be signed up for through the event. So the event is September 3rd, and if students, forget about it until 1 o'clock, we still want them to be able to sign up for an appointment between 1 and 3 o'clock. So you'll want to refresh this page throughout the course of the fair, just to see if any new students are coming in and registering. But how you join the video meeting, it's very simple, and you can do it in a lot of different spots. Email is one of them that I've already talked about, but both on this home page, or when I click the View Appointments button, on this page as well, all I simply do is click Join Meeting. And so I click on Join Meeting. It's going to take me to this video portal button. It's not showing my camera because my camera is being used for Zoom, but I click Join Meeting, and now I'm in the appointment. A couple things that I want to touch on. We definitely recommend that, if possible, use a desktop or laptop to meet with students for your appointments. We've just found it's way easier to use the Career Fair Plus interface from a desktop or laptop computer. Obviously, if if you only have an iPad or a mobile phone, you can absolutely use those. You just need to download the Career Fair Plus app onto your phone or mobile device, and you can use the do the video appointments from there as well. See, a quick question, Victor, are we gonna have this available on video? Yes, I've been recording the webinar so far, and we will get it posted to our website, and I'll send this out after the fact. So yeah, we'll get you taken care of. But so just to refresh, all you have to do is click the join meeting button from this page or your home page to enter the video portal. Couple notes. If you have back-to-back appointments, you do not need to leave this tab and then re-enter the video portal from here. It's always going to be the same video portal. The students are just entering at different times. Also, I want to point out, up here in the upper left-hand corner, you should see this lock symbol and the 1 out of 4. That means it's a private room. Students cannot enter without a login and without having signed up. And so what'll happen is if you're meeting with someone in the appointment room and someone else tries to join, you'll get a notification up here in the right-hand corner that someone is knocking on the room. And so that's just an encouragement to check your time, see if, okay, yeah, the appointment's supposed to end at 11:25, it's 11:26. You need to go ahead and wrap up, end with the current student, stay in the room, and then you can let the next student in. Other things that I want to point out to you, if you only have one screen, I know some people have two, some people only have one, you can be on different screens and still use the video at the same time. So there's this button right up here in the top right-hand corner, and it's the picture-in-picture button. And you should see here in the lower right-hand corner a little black screen that says no camera on. I can now navigate back to my appointment schedule to see if anyone else has signed up. If there were students here, unfortunately, I can't simulate this for you, but you'll see it as students start to sign up. When they sign up, I can click on their name and I can get profile information about them. So year, GPA, major, that sort of thing. You can just see that basic student demographic information that can help you in your conversation. And I can still have the camera up and still, maintain that semblance of connection so far. And easy way to exit out of that is you can click on the X button right here, or you can go back to the tab and click off this button. It should be super simple. Anyone have any questions on that? Okay, great. So that's how you access the video appointments from your schedule of appointments. And I want to once again emphasize, whether you're using a drop-in room or a schedule of appointments, it's always going to be video. But to access the schedule of appointments video, that happens, you need to have a login, you need to be set up with a schedule, and you click on the join meeting button. Some of y'all might only be doing a drop-in room, or maybe you're just going to be assigned to the drop-in room from your organization. And I kind of touched on this earlier, but I will simulate all of it just to give you a good understanding of how it works. So no one needs a login to access a drop-in room. Either a member of your organization could just copy and paste the link and send it to you and you can enter, or, all you need to do is go to, hang on, I'll just show you from the very beginning. You would go to careerfairplus.com. You would hit the fairs button. We're then going to search for our fair. I always recommend searching for Kansas because apparently in the system we're the University of Kansas, and that can be confusing for some people. You click on the university. Normally, you would click on the volunteer fair. For the purposes of our demo, I'm going to click on Test Fall Virtual Fair. And then you would simply navigate to your employer. In my case, it's going to be University of Kansas Business Career Services. That's the example I'm using. And you click on this drop-in link. That's all you do. You click on the link, and it's going to bring up that same video interface that I showed you earlier. As you'll notice, like I think I pointed this out, this is unlocked. You can have up to 50 people in here at once. You can have multiple recruiters here at once. There's no limit to anything like that. We definitely strongly encourage, if you're going to be using this room, please have someone in here at all times. I think I touched on this earlier, but it's a little confusing. We found it's a little confusing for students. If they come into this room and no one's in here, they don't know if they're waiting to be let in or if, you know, the employer didn't show up. We just had problems with that with some of our test fairs. So you can copy this link, send it to others. The same picture-in-picture capability is still here. I can go to different screens and still have a picture of what's going on in there. And it should be pretty straightforward, very similar to Zoom calls that you've done in the past. Want to pause again? Any other questions? Awesome. Well, I'm going to start. I'm going to share some more information with y'all. Don't feel like you have to take copious notes. Like I said, I'm recording this conversation, and the information I'm about to share, we have in a Word document for you that we're going to send out. It's just kind of some general information, some general suggestions on how to interact with students and how to troubleshoot. So first thing I want to talk about is troubleshooting your system. So please, please, please be sure to test your system at least the day before the fair, if not sooner. If you don't test your system before the day of the fair, and it's, you know, a one-off problem that is outside of our ability to control, we might not be able to get it fixed during the fair. And so if that happens, the first thing that you want to do if you're having an issue, we want to check to make sure that you're using the correct browser. Career Fair Plus primarily works with Google Chrome and Firefox browsers. In our test fairs, we found it worked on some other browsers occasionally, but the primary browsers are Google Chrome and Career Fair Plus. So if you're having an issue, check that you're on the correct browser. The second thing we want you to check is, are you using a virtual private network? So if, you know, I know a lot of you are probably working remotely, and some organizations, you know, to access files or share information might be using a VPN. You please disconnect from that, because we found that sometimes the firewalls with those virtual private networks keeps Career Fair Plus from working. If those two steps don't work, the final general fix we found is just to try switching devices. Can you switch to a laptop or an iPad or something along those lines? If those steps don't work, you need to reach out to support@careerfairplus.com. They are a great help. They're very responsive. One thing that I forgot to show you earlier, anytime, anywhere you're on the Career Fair Plus page, whether you're looking just at the general fair page right here, or I'm in my account, you should see this little red button right here down at the bottom, and this is their support page. You can send them a message. You can search for articles. You know, if you're trying to find out more information about drop-in rooms, you know, you can search for that, and it's going to bring up a bunch of information about that. Or you can email them directly. That's just general troubleshooting. Obviously, there are one-off issues that Career Fair Plus can solve. Unfortunately, as an event coordinator, I'm not a software programmer, so that's why it's so important that you test your system at least the day before the fair, if not sooner. And as I've demonstrated, you know, this test fair that I'm demoing to you right now, it's January 1st, 2021. And I can still enter the join meeting button right here to see that it's working. So there's no limit, there's no deadline. You know, you can't start testing it till the week before the fair. If you're already set up in Career Fair Plus, you can check it to make sure that it's working. If for whatever reason it's not working, and a student enters your video room and their audio is not working, or yours isn't working, or you're having some sort of problem, we recommend, if it's a minute or two in, go ahead and just call the student. When you're looking at their signups here on this page, you'll be able to click on them and you'll see their phone number. And we're telling students this as well, because we don't want you to waste a 10-minute conversation just trying to troubleshoot a computer issue. And we'd rather you still have that conversation. Because worst case, you can set up a time for later in the day or the next day to still talk about the opportunity. And we don't want you to have to spend your entire appointment troubleshooting. We do want you to reach out to us and let us know that there is an issue. And you can do that to Career Fair Plus or to me directly. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. As far as engaging with students during these fairs, virtual fairs is going to be new to KU students. This is not something that we do very often. And so we're really going to encourage you to be prepared to lead the conversations. Students are probably not going to be used to this format. So we just found in our test fairs, and just based on what other schools have told us who have already done virtual fairs, that they may be more passive than normal with these early fairs. So having an elevator pitch or just some basic questions ready to ask them will probably be helpful in facilitating conversations. And this applies whether you're doing a one-on-one appointment or meeting with them in a drop-in room. Excuse me. Any questions so far? I'm starting to reach the end of the information that I have for y'all. The last thing I want to make sure to cover before I open up the whole floor to questions is talk about day of support. So like I mentioned, we want to do those 3 basic troubleshooting steps of make sure you're on the right browser, disconnect from a VPN you may be connected to, or maybe try changing devices. If that doesn't work, you'll email CareerFairPlus at support@careerfairplus.com, or you can also hop onto a Zoom link with myself, and I'll send this information out. I'm not going to, try and share the meeting ID for y'all to try and scribble down, but I'll be available via Zoom the entire day so that you can hop on and share any problems that you're having, any issues, concerns. We will be available. So with that, I see someone threw something into the chat. Let me get that pulled up for you. All right, any questions that y'all have at this point? I know some of y'all have not finalized who is doing appointments or schedules or a drop-in room. If you have not figured that out yet, I do need to know as soon as possible. Students will be available to start signing up for appointments a week from today. So we need to get that finalized. Sheila, is the get started link in the email where we find our schedule? Yes, what you in your email, it should be an invitation to get your profile set up, and once you do that, you'll have access to your schedule. So go ahead and click on that link, and that should get you going. What other questions? Okay, Sheila, I see your chat that your link isn't working, so let's connect after this so we can see what's going on. Jared, you are asking if you should have received a get started email. So that's a good question, Jared. For those of you, and it doesn't apply to many of you, for those of you who are doing just a drop-in room, based on the communication that I've received so far, some of you have indicated we don't want any schedules of appointments. We just want a drop-in room. You would not have received that invitation because, like I mentioned earlier, you don't need a login to access this page. So based on, we'll get this set up with plenty of time to double check it, but you don't need an account to access a drop-in room. So since there's no schedule to create, I was just going to send you the link to your to this basic career fair page, and you can find your employer and click on the drop-in link. So you don't need an account for that. And Kristen, I see your note. Let's connect after as far as changing drop-in rooms and appointments. Jared, I see that comment as well. So any other questions about Career Fair Plus, how to use it? Any questions that you have, concerns? All right, awesome. Well, thank you all so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and stop recording this. I am happy to stay on. For those of you who are